for the 2015 International Weightlifting Federation's World Championships, which also are a very important competition in every category for Rio 2016. Michaela Breeze with myself, David Goldstrom, for this. As you can see, the women's 69-kilo competition, and 10 lifters going forward to the competition. We've lost one, and that is the lifter from the Cameroon. That's Marie Feg. Trying to find out what the reason is, because it is a late defection, and at the moment we have no news as to why the Commonwealth Games champion of 2014 is taking no part in the competition. But hopefully we will get news of that during the final, which is coming right up here. As you can see in picture, Luo Chun Hong from the People's Republic of Korea, who is the defending world champion. And you can see some interesting weights here. Maya Manetsa, hugely successful, coming up to this weight category of 69, but only weighing in at 66.23 kilos. And then you've got a couple of lifters at 67 kilos. But let's meet the challengers. Luo Chun Hong for the People's Republic of Korea, the world champion, still only 21 years of age. This year's junior world champion, Sarah Ahmed, representing Egypt, only 17. Maya Manetsa, the Olympic champion at 63 kilos, representing Kazakhstan. And her teammate, Zazira Zapakul, only 21. She, the runner-up in the World Championships last year. Skemankova, the representative of Belarus, bronze medal at the London Olympic Games. And then Mont Jansen for Mongolia, another 17-year-old, top 10 in the world. And Olga Afanaseva, national champion for Russia this year. And Jansen, the world champion for 2013. Anastasia Romanova is the second of the Russians. She was runner-up to Afanaseva in the nationals. And completing the lineup, Xena Belarus, the European champion for the past 2 seasons. So, as you can gather from those introductions, a really talented field yet again, and this a competition to relish. The records all belong to one of the greatest women weightlifters of all time, Luo Chun Hong, who in the Beijing Olympics set a total of 286, the snatch world record of 128, the clean and jerk record of 158. A hugely talented and versatile lifter, and if anybody gets near those totals, they'll be doing really, really well. So, Michaela, you've had a little look down the list of contenders. Anyone you'd particularly pick out tonight to keep an eye on?
Well, I think Zhang of China, we're talking about world records. She's probably going to be the closest lifter. And looking at the start list, she's got down a 120, 150. That is considerably higher than everybody else. So I think she's going to be the one to watch and almost in a league of her own in this competition.
Maya Manetsa, interesting to see how she copes now going up a weight category, having been so successful. She's now one of the most experienced lifters in the whole of this competition. Maya now 30 years of age, but certainly no suggestion that she's anywhere past her best, but a terrific servant for Kazakh weightlifting. There's the European champion of the past 2 seasons, Xena Belarus, who earlier just collected their first gold medal of these championships in the men's 94 kilos. So that should have sent some good vibes around the Belarus coaching team. And it does give you a little boost when you realize that one of your teammates has done well. And, it's not the most flattering way to introduce the referees, but there they are for you, ranked in order of height, I think. And these the records, and some great namers. Look at the people who set records at senior, junior and youth. Kasseri at the bottom for Russians. Slivenko, Oksana Slivenko, one of the most consistent lifters for Russia. So just a few moments away from our next gold medal competition, and looking to come out to start, the Olympic champion of the 63-kilo competition in London, Maya Manetza. And sit back and enjoy this with Michaela Breeze, Commonwealth Games champion, and myself, David Goldstrom, as this promises to be really competitive. We have 10 competitors. We've lost one in the last minutes. That's Marie Feg of the Cameroon, who took the Commonwealth gold medal in Glasgow a year ago. So no reason come to us for that defection. It could be an injury. She might not have made the weight. There are a number of reasons why that might have happened. If and when we get news, we will of course bring that to you. So I think this is a fascinating competition. We've got an Olympic champion, a world champion, a junior world, European champion in the competition, and I think this promises to be a really good fight, which is really what we want. The records are great when they come, Michaela, but it's actually the fight that is the thing that we relish.
Oh, it is, absolutely, and I think we're going to see a fight for the medals. Looking at the start list here, there's around, if you take out Zhang of China, there's only about 10 kilos between everybody else on the start list, so it's going to be close.
And as we've seen, predominantly in the men's division, but not exclusively, China, last couple of evenings in the clean and jerk in the men's competitions, well, they've missed out. And earlier today, they also missed out in the men's 94 when their representative actually failed on his 3 attempts in the snatch phase. So although China sitting strongly at the head of both the men's and women's medals table, it's not gone always to plan.
No, they've made, usually, you know, they every now and again make a mistake, but to make so many mistakes, it really is unusual to see so many Chinese athletes bombing out. And we've had another one here this evening.
Well, here's a lady you know extremely well. Maya Manetza, Kazakhstan, 30 years of age, Olympic champion at 63 kilos. How is she going to get on here in terms of this new weight category for her?
Oh, she's weighing in fairly light at only 66.23. Maximum body weight is 69 kilos, so she's still adjusting to this body weight. Fairly sure that we're going to see her much closer to the weight limit if she makes it next year to Rio. Giving away a couple of kilos on body weight, that's a good couple of kilos in muscle she's giving away.
Interesting fight here, though, because when you consider they've got 2 Kazakh lifters here, and the other one, Zaparkul, is the national record holder at 118 kilos for the snatch. And remember, each nation can only send a maximum of 4 women, and the Kazakh women's team is blessed with talent, Shinshanlo, and there are many others. So it's not necessarily going to be an opportunity for Manetza.
No, it's great to have such talent and such depth within one country. A lot of these lifters will be fighting for those rare places within their team. So it's going to be interesting to see who is sent to Rio. And it is disappointing, I think, that we can't have more athletes competing. Like at a World Championships, why not be able to send a full team?
Marina Shkamankova of Belarus, bronze medalist in London. 113, 143, 256 her final total. Only 4th, though, in the Europeans this year, and that was well subpar.
That's a good start. Just needs to stand, and she does.
So 103 is what she lifted in the Europeans. What she lifted, though, in the Olympics, 113 kilos.
Well, hopefully we'll see her achieve something a bit closer to that with her remaining 2 attempts. Here you can see good extensions. It's nice and straight under the bar. Nice and fast. And the aim is to get as low as possible into that deep squat position.
So Sarah Ahmed representing Egypt. We've been used to a number of really good athletes in the men's division from Egypt, but not so many women. So this is, for me, very interesting to see her coming out on this stage.
don't know, we have had some good lifters from Egypt, probably early 2000s, but they've kind of fizzled out a little, so it's good to see them back competing on in an A category at the World Championships.
African champion this season, and also a very good silver medal in the IWF Grand Prix this year. 105 kilos lifted there, so that was a new personal best for her in this first discipline.
Well, with 105 as an opener, that's a big starting weight. And she's just equalled her best on her first attempt. Doesn't she look businesslike?
Yeah, nice start there, 68.08. I would say that she's at the light end of the class, but of course we've got Manetsa, who only weighed in at 66.23, and we've got Skamankova at 67.93, and Mohanshan of Mongolia at 67.95. So body weight interesting. And now the other Belarus challenger, Xena Belarus, who in recent times has been the more successful of the two Belarus performers. European champion, 115 on her way to that European title this season.
Yeah, starting well within herself, just taking a split second to recover at the bottom before standing.
And the unhappy memory, I guess, for Xena is the fact that she actually lost the bronze medal at the Olympic Games to Skamankova, her teammate, on body weight.
Oh,
it's one thing to lose it to an opponent from another country, but to lose it to your own teammate.
Yeah, that's tough going.
Yeah, they both totaled up to 46. Or 256, I mean. Now Manetsa.
Short. Not quite getting the explosive extension that's required to generate the upward momentum on the bar. One attempt remaining. I think she's capable of that weight.
This will be her third and final attempt.
It's interesting, she failed to get a total in Beijing, Manetsa, in the 63 kilo category, but then the lesson was learnt. Came out and won the 63 Championship of the World in Goyang in Korea in 09, and then went to Italia and defended it. Then lost it, only got the silver medal in Paris in 2011, but then came back and took the Olympic title. So that mighty consistent period, what you'd call a real purple patch, from 209 right through to 212. And in her time, she's also picked up the Asian Games title. So in those years, but this is very different now.
Times have moved on quite considerably in the last 5-10 years or so. I remember competing in the late 90s and seeing a female lifter clean and jerk over 100 kilos, and at that time it was pretty impressive, but now it's commonplace for the lightest categories to be lifting those kind of weights.
So she has to come out because nobody else wants this particular weight. She's put it up to 107, so she's increased the kiloage by 2 kilos, but that's still not a weight that anybody wants. So this is the position she finds herself in. So third and final attempt.
Well, I'm not sure that was a very intelligent move, having missed 105. You know, it looked like that would have been a challenge had she attempted it again, but to go up to 107 may be a little foolish in this situation. Wasn't too far away.
Skamankova on the stage. Just a moment for me to tell you that in the B group earlier in the championships, Mama Salieva of Uzbekistan, 102 kilos, 131 for 233. And that was the biggest total in the B group. But the biggest snatch actually coming from Norway's Ruth Kasseri, 103 kilos. So Skamankova, 108.
Well, 2 out of 2. Send the coach back to the warm-up room, get there in time to change the weight. The bar automatically increases by 1 kilo. You have 30 seconds to make your change.
Goes into first place. Just a back reference to Ruth Kasseri from Norway. Of course, the European Championships coming up in April next year in Fjorde near Bergen. And that will really be Ruth's opportunity to try and qualify for the Olympic Games.
Well, Ruth has been going for many years. I remember competing against her at 63. She's stepped up now to 69. And like many athletes, when you don't have a good enough team around you, you've got to try and qualify an individual place. And that's tough. She's got to be top 10 world ranked to secure that place.
So Skamankova, because of that, 108 is in the lead ahead of Sara Ahmed. And now here comes our Mongolian to take on the first attempt here, Mokhan Jansen, and weighed in at 67.95. Again, Mongolia, a country which is just beginning to put its head above the pulpit in that sense that it's now appearing to produce 1 or 2 competitors in this sport who may well find themselves, if not in this coming Olympics, maybe Tokyo 2020.
It's a country that's progressing in terms of talent and depth. It takes time and it takes investment. And they're now starting to reap the rewards.
And straight away a personal best. She was top 10 in the world in Kazakhstan, and her personal best on that occasion, 107. That's the best she's ever done on a competition stage until the last 15 seconds, in which she picked up 110 kilos. And hers would have been one of the more complicated journeys to get to Houston.
Just trying to picture that route.
Now, Olga Fanny Saber, the first of 2 Russians, mid-20s, national champion this season, picked up 116 kilos on her way to a total of 261.
Yeah, I think that's okay. Slight flicker of the right elbow, but I don't think it was a press out. Hyperextension more than anything. 110, no problem. Looks very strong and very dynamic.
And I promised you the news of Mary Feg of the Cameroons. So I've just had a little text through from Attila Adamfi, the Director General of the International Weightlifting Federation, just to confirm that she actually didn't weigh in. So I can't tell you why she didn't weigh in, but we now know that she didn't weigh in. So that's why she's not in the competition. Now, Egypt. Five-kilo increase.
That's a big lift, 110. Her first attempt was equal to her best. There's a 5-kilo personal best. 1 attempt still remaining.
So well prepared on the evidence of what we've seen so far. Clear in her head about the job that she has to do, and executed rather nicely.
Yeah, she jumped back slightly. That's because she threw her shoulders back, but it was such an aggressive, dynamic attempt. She nailed it.
So another 5-kilo increase here.
It's okay, needs a bit more extension on her next attempt. Needs to lead with the chest, but that's good enough. She's strong enough, still lifting within her own ability. 110, still 7 kilos down on her best ever performance back in 2014. Nice, solid landing position. Catches the weight nicely at arm's length. You just see the effort standing up.
First appearance of the defending champion, Luo Chun Hong.
Oh, I don't know. I think we're going to see a press out there on her left elbow.
Central referee tells her to put the bar down, but
she looks confused. She actually had the down signal before she stood up, and that's because all three referees had seen the press out. Watch here on the right as we look at it, her left arm.
Clear.
Those watching back home, it may not look like a huge movement, but the rules are the rules. The bar must go to arm's length and stay there, not allowed any flexion whatsoever in the elbow.
Do you have a view, Mikana?
I think the rules should stand.
There are those who say, let's get rid of the press outs.
I think if we get rid of the press outs, I think we're going to see a lot rougher looking lifts. I think we're going to see a lot of people trying to muscle the weights up. And I think it's going to start to lead to other things. And more importantly, injuries. People start to lean back on the weights and press it at the end. And I just, you know, while you look at that and think there might not be a problem with it, you have to make a cut-off somewhere and be clear on the rules. I agree with it.
So there you have it. And now, Rio, it's not what you want to do on the first attempt when you're looking to defend your title.
Well, there we go. No problems that time round. Just recovered from the minor blip at the start. She will be frustrated that it's a wasted attempt. But at the same time, if she watches it back, she'll see why the lift was failed on her first go.
But 111 kilos, second attempt. She is in the lead. But when you look at the opening attempt of Zhang of China at 120, that looks pretty fearsome. And Skamankova now for third attempt to complete a 100% series, going up to 111 kilos, lighter than the lifter you just saw from the People's Republic of Korea.
Ooh, collapsed in. See the replay, you'll see that her left foot heel came up, knee dropped in. Very difficult to recover from that position. Just they're never on flat feet, always on the inside of that foot. You really risk rolling the ankle with this kind of weight overhead. That's not recommended.
So Zazira Zapakul out for her first attempt. Zapakul, who entered 110 and has upped it to 112 kilos for her first attempt, which most of you will know indicates that she's been pretty happy about her preparation. So this for the lead at the first attempt.
Well, a small step forwards just to steady herself.
Pretty straightforward though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked fairly routine. Personal best of 118, so she's 6 kilos down on that. But I think we're going to see get a bit closer. A couple of attempts remaining. Looks very focused.
Yeah, she was runner-up to the People's Republic of Korea lifter, 262, beaten by 3 kilos last year, and now the second of the Russians opening up here on 112, Anastasia Romanova.
And one of the tallest lifters in this weight category. Compare Romanova stature to Zabakul, who we've just seen from Kazakhstan, completely different statures here. We've got a very rangy lifter in picture, and it does mean the movement's going to be a bit harder for her. So much further for the bar to move, whereas Zabakul much shorter, much more compact. Two completely different body types, both competing head to head. It just shows that this sport is so inclusive, not just in terms of sizes, but also in terms of body weights. There's a category for everybody.
So, just a 2 kilo increase now for Sara. Currently in 5th place, but every lift she makes, she sets a new mark. So that's good news. Enjoyed the first 2 attempts. Fingers crossed the third one, which is a tough ask.
Oh, it was a good effort. Fully committed, really wanted that. Just got to wonder what she's lifted in training to be coming out here and starting on her best, and she's walking off looking very frustrated with herself. Clearly a weight she wanted, or she felt she was capable of. She wasn't far away. Good extension, just jumped backwards, and that's what cost her.
So, Fanny Saber. Incidentally, the Russian national snatch record belongs to Oksana Slivenko, 123 kilos. And that actually equals a junior world record that she set back in Santo Domingo in 2006 in those world championships. So these 2 Russian women have got something to live up to, and possibly not ready for that yet. But this is 5 kilos up, 115.
Am I better off seeing this from the side? I want to say that she threw her shoulders back.
Never has there been a championship more necessary than this one in which to produce 6 good attempts.
Well, she didn't throw her shoulders back. It wasn't too far off technically. Very fine line between success and failure, and when the bar's going behind, it's almost too dangerous to hold on to it. You risk the elbows and shoulders going. She did the right thing, letting go. See all the coaches gathering around the scoreboard. This is such a close competition with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lifters out of the 10 still in the competition and fighting for these medals. You've got to be so switched on as a coach. Stay by that scoreboard. Keep your eyes open for any changes.
Xena Belarus now. This for 3 out of 3. Also going for 115 kilos. Would push her into the lead.
Well, I think on reflection may have been better to go 112, 113. It was a big attempt, and it's a weight she is capable of, having done 117 in the past.
Yeah, I mean, that 117 that she did last year in the World Championships, she came out of it with 260 total and missed the bronze medal by just a kilo. So, that gives you an idea how, fractions are so important.
Yes, they are, and I wish we knew a bit more about these athletes in terms of the preparation and how they feel coming into these events. They keep their cards very close to the chest. They're not going to tell us if they've been carrying injuries.
Well, you don't want to let out any of that sort of information to your opposition. That's better.
Well, she's really shining here today.
Yeah, but expensive. That second attempt failure, it's limited her ambitions. Remember, you've got this Chinese lifter who was the world champion in 2013, who lifted 123 kilos in the snatch phase. That's only 5 kilos down on the world record. And if she's going to lift to par or better, then it's not just a question of maybe getting a world record. She could actually build up quite a cushion of advantage over her rivals. Meanwhile, 6-kilo increase here for Jansen of Mongolia. Only 17 years of age.
Just threw everything back, threw her head back, her shoulders will follow. Just a little bit of inexperience. When the weight gets heavy, you've got to be more explosive, more powerful with the legs. You start throwing your head and shoulders back, the consequence is going to be the hips going forwards.
Skamankova. At the moment, the Belarusians having their own little battle. Skamankova in 8th place, Sazanovic in 7th, but back to Kazakhstan and Zapakul. 4-kilo increase, currently in 3rd place. This to go into 1st place, into gold medal position in the snatch.
There we see the smile. Very focused until she knows she had it under control. Well, she's still got one attempt to go as well, so...
Very important attempt as well, because if Zhang of China comes out on 120, well, you would think that the Kazakh lifter in picture here would want to be as close as she possibly could be. And now Romanova, also a 4-kilo increase, also to go into the lead.
Very, very strong overhead. Not as explosive as some of the lifters we've seen. But uses her levers to her advantage.
Rangy.
Very rangy. Towering over the coaches. Got to be near on 6 foot tall.
So 116 for Kuo, defending champion. Lighter bodyweight will push her into the lead.
Yeah,
if she can stand up.
That's good. The only movement was in the hip.
And so the lead changing lift by lift here. And at the moment, we have the situation that Zapakul of Kazakhstan's got 1 left. And the Mongolian lifter also 1 to come. Romanova needs her 3rd attempt, and Zhang just continues to wait in the wings to come out at 120 at the moment. So going for this 6-kilo increase again. And this would be a significant personal best. I mean, she's already achieved that with the 110, but this would be really something. She's asking herself a big question here. Be wonderful if she could achieve it. It will come one day.
It will do. I just think when we're above best, is a 6-kilo increase too much? I'm not sure it's the most intelligent call of weights, and clearly technique breaks down when she's under pressure on those kind of weights, and you just can't afford to break down.
Yeah, I would concur there. You know, a 3-kilo increase and then another 3 kilos might have been an intelligent, more intelligent pathway.
This is where I'd like to know more about how their preparation has gone leading into these championships, because you never know. She may have done a 120 in training. Who knows?
So the bar now to 117, because Zhang and her coaches have been observing what's going on, so they were going to come out at 120, but thank you very much, we'll come out at 117. Sensible.
Well, that's one of the best opening attempts we've seen from Chinese lifters at this World Championships. She's in the competition. Let's see how far she goes now on her 2nd and 3rds. Lovely technically. Not trying to lift the bar higher with her arms, just driving powerfully with the legs, getting lots of float on the bar.
She did beat the world record in the Nationals. Lifted 129. Doesn't become an official world record because world records can only be set in competitions ratified by the International Weightlifting Federation, but she actually snatched 129 kilos. Total 284. That's only 2 kilos short of the world total. So good start, steady start, intelligent start by her. Zapakul, who's pushed the bar to 119, but before that Romanova, who's asked for a 2 kilo increase here for 3 out of 3, currently sitting in the bronze medal position. So trying to go into gold. Has to settle for 116.
These are big weights. These girls are all sub 69 kilos in body weight. So it just gives you an indication of how much above body weight they're lifting. Pretty much 50 kilos over.
So 2 lifters alive in the competition. Zhang with 2 attempts. And Zapakul of Kazakhstan with just 1 left. And Alexei Lini putting it up to 120 there. And that would be her 3rd attempt. So here comes Zhang to take 120, which would be her 2nd attempt. That's why she's out first, ahead of the woman from Kazakhstan. So I really don't see an attempt on the world record, although...
No, they're playing for the gold medals first.
Yeah. If she gets this, you know, just think about it. She'd have to take a 9 kilo increase.
It's not happening today.
Not the pathway to a world record. But first and foremost, as you rightly said, focus on winning the gold medal.
That's good. Even has time to flick her hair out of her eyes. That's going to be enough to put you off balance.
Yeah, super control.
Well, Zapakul has also opted for a 120, if successful, by the fact she's 0.02 lighter on body weight.
But
would go into the lead.
This woman would then have 1 attempt to come back at her.
Yes, she would. And looking at the starting weights and the clean and jerk, Jeanne has such a huge advantage over the rest of the athletes.
Well, you can only do what you do, and Zapakul, Zazira Zapakul of Kazakhstan, can she complete 3 good attempts? 21 years of age, still improving. Last year's world runner-up.
Ooh, she's let it go.
And that leaves her back on 116. So now Zhang has already got a 4 kilo cushion over her closest rival. So Zhang has won the gold medal, and Ryo of People's Republic of Korea on 116, and her lighter body weight earning her the silver medal over Romanova of Russia, who got 116, but so did Zapakul, but she was heavier than the Russian. So now the bar, 123. Well, it's what she won the world title with on 2013, on her way to it anyway.
Well, sensible calls of weights by the looks of it, based on her ability and where she's at the moment.
Yeah, I was just also thinking, why would you want to do 129? Because if you've got aspirations or thoughts about this woman representing China in one of the 4 categories, and if she can do 129 on a certain day, you wouldn't want anybody to know too much about that. But I was a bit disappointed that she didn't get that, to be honest.
Such a very fine line between success and failure when lifting these kind of weights overhead. 123 is a huge, huge snatch.
So there it is, Zhang World champion in 2013, 120, 4-kilo advantage over Rio and over Romanova and over Zapakul. And second, third and fourth places all decided by body weight. And then a Fanny Saber of Russia just below. And Ruth Kasseri from the B group there, you can see, with 103 kilos. Just Maya Manetsa, well, it's a new category for her.